Okay, this is lesson 5.2 notes on rates and unit rates. A rate is usually a unit per another unit. So, for example, if I have 140 miles in 2 hours, okay, so that was a traveling time. And equivalent fraction ratios, remember, means that equivalent means equal sign. So 140 over 2 is the same thing as if we reduce that fraction as 70 over 1 dividing by 2. So a unit rate is when we have a 1 in the denominator, when we have units per one amount. So in this case, we have the 140 miles in 2 hours. Well, we want to know the speed per hour. And so if we were to figure that out, we would simply divide and get 70 over 1, which is our unit rate. So we would say 70 miles per hour. Okay, so then we have some examples here. Example number 1, finding the unit rate. A nutrition label shows that for every half a cup of tuna has half a gram of fat. How many grams of fat are there for every cup? So right now we have grams of fat per cup of tuna. So we're going to have to do the fat first, which is the 1/2 out of a total of 1/4 cup. And so to get the unit rate, we want the fat per cup. So we're going to have to 1/4 times 4 gives me 1. So I'm going to do 1/2 times 4, which works out to be 2. So then we would say 2 grams of fat per cup of tuna. Okay, and then in part B, we're asked how many cups of tuna are there for every gram of fat? So this time they want the cups of tuna to fat, which is the other way. So we're going to have the 1/4 out of the 1/2, and we want per cup. So here we would do times 2, whatever you multiply your denominator by, you multiply your numerator by, and 1/4 times 2 is 2/4, which then works out to be 1/2 out of 1 if we reduce that. So we would say a half cup of tuna per gram of fat. Okay, the next question is a try it. You can pause this video and then turn it back on. There is 1/4 gram of fat for every half tablespoons of powdered peanut butter. How many grams of fat are there for every tablespoon of the powder? Okay, so we're going to have our fat per tablespoon of powder. So if you want to write the words to set it up properly, make sure you have the right number in the numerator and the correct number in the denominator. Okay, so we have, we want per 1 tablespoon of powder. So 1/3, that would be times 3 to get 1. So I have to do 1/4 times 3. And you can work that off to the side, or you can use your calculator. 1/4 times 3 over 1 is 3/4. So we're going to write 3/4. And then our answer in words would be 3/4 grams of fat per tablespoon of powder. Okay, using unit rates to solve a rate problem. A scientist estimates that a jet of liquid iron in Earth's core travels 9 feet for every half hour. How far does the liquid iron travel in 1 day? So we're given the 9 feet for every half hour. So we're going to write 9 and 1/2 here first to start. And then we'll work on getting our unit rate. So this will be times 2 to get a 1 there. So 9 times 2 is 18. So now we know that it's 18 per hour. And we want to know in 1 day. Remember that 1 day equals 24 hours. So we got to keep our units straight because this is in hours. So we're going to write 24 here. And this is what the question is asking us to solve, which once we have our unit rate, we know we need to just multiply by 24. 1 times 24 is 24. So we have to do 18 times 24. And if you work that out, you'll get 432. So we would say 432 feet per day. All right, you have a try it question here, filling in the table. Go ahead and pause and try that and then turn it back on to check with my answer. All right, looking at this first, what we're given here is 3/9 as the proportion. So 9 times 2 is 18. So I'm going to do 3 times 2 to get 6. And then for 24, 6 times 4 is 24. So I have to do 18 times 4, and that works out to be 72. And then here I have an 8. Instead of dividing by 3, which I could do, I could also do, actually that's the only one I can do. So divide by 3, that's 24. And then here we can divide by 2 to get 12, divide by 2, and we get 4. All right, so then the question asked the unit rate of cups per gram. Well, if we have cups per gram, we have to do 9 to 3. Which is 3 to 1. So that's 3 cups per gram. Okay, let's turn it over to the other side. Okay, it says find the unit rates. We have 180 miles in 3 hours. We want a 1 in the denominator. Another way to do a unit rate is to just simply divide. Okay, so I can do 180 divided by 3 to get our unit rate. And 180 divided by 3 is 60. And then, not forgetting our units here, we would write miles per hour. Okay, here we have 256 miles per 8 gallons, so 256 divided by 8. And if we work that out, we get 32. And then, remembering your units, that's miles per gallon. Okay, part C, we have 1/2 a pound in 5 days. So we want to know in 1 day. So if we do 1/2 divided by 5, we get 0.01 pounds per day. Make sure your LB is separate from your decimal there. 4 grams for every 3/4 serving, so 4 divided by 3/4. Remember, if you're going to use a fraction with your calculator, you're going to do alpha y equals. Otherwise, you're doing 4 times the flip of that. And when you work that out with your calculator, you get 5.3 repeating, which 0.3 means 1/3. So you would say 5 1/3 grams per serving. Okay, you try is the next section. So please pause this video and try the next few problems and then turn it back on. All right, let's see how we did. 960 divided by 4 is 240. So we're going to have $2.40 per pound. Here we have $4.80 divided by 6 cans, and that works out to be 0.80, so 80 cents per can. Dollar sign goes out in front. 297 words in 5.5 minutes. When we divide, we get 54 words per minute. So it's just simply numerator divided by denominator. 1/3 kilograms per 2/3 feet. 1/2 divided by 2/3. We can do that either on our calculator or I can work it out by hand. 1/2 divided by 2/3 is 1/2 times 3/2, which gives us 3/4. That was our keep change flip. So we have 3/4 kilograms per foot. Number 5, we have 5/8 ounces per 1/4 pint. So that works out to be 5/8 divided by 1/4 is 5/8 times 4/1. We can cross cancel here. 4 goes into 4 once, it goes into 8 2 times. Multiplying across, we get 5/2. 5/2 reduces to 2.5, so we could say 2.5 ounces per pint. And lastly, we have 21 3/4 divided by 2.5. Okay, this works out to be 87/4 divided by 5/2. And we're going to have 87/4 divided by 5/2 is 87/4 times 2/5. Cross canceling, we get 87/10, which is 8 7/10, or 8.7 meters per hour.